Hi guys, so since yesterday I filmed my writing goals of 2021, I thought that it would be fitting to film my reading goals video for 2021. And I've picked out a list of books which I've just got right next to me here, and I'm going to talk through them a little bit. They all look really good. They've all been on my shelf for probably years, or apart from a couple which are quite new. And I've just never really looked at them or never really read them, but they've always been in the back of my mind, just wanted to read them. My ancient TBR basically. So so I'm looking forward to getting into all of these books because they look really, really good. And even just now, just looking at some of the blurbs when I haven't really looked at them before is pretty cool. Sorry if you can hear my dog chewing in the background or the washing machine, which is also on. But yeah, so I'm going to talk through some of these books. So first of all, we have The Queen's Resistance by Rebecca Ross. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I read the first book in this series, The Queen's Rising. I think it was 2 years ago now. It's a really good series, and it's very political, sort of YA fiction. They're all YA fantasy, by the way, apart from one, I think. One or two. Or yeah, maybe one, two or three. But yeah, so this one, I'll talk you through a little bit the blurb of the first one. So Brianna Colbert knows what it's like to be an outsider. Cast aside from her family, here's the cover. Cast aside from her family in the northern kingdom of Maevana, she's been raised in the south. While some are born with a talent for one of the 5 passions, art, music, dramatics, wit and knowledge, Brianna struggles to discover hers until she chooses knowledge, and with it comes a very unusual skill. When a dangerous plot against the Northern Kingdom comes to light, Brianna's passion proves invaluable to a rebellion she never even knew existed. Will she choose loyalty to her present or her past? For a queen is destined to rise and reclaim the Northern throne, and Brianna might just be the one who holds the key to it all. And yeah, it was a couple years ago I read this one, but I really enjoyed it. I think it was like her character growth, because you learn that as a child she was pretty much like kept as like an orphan sort of thing, or like on her own, but looked after by like an older figure. I think it's like a grandfather figure. It's been a little while since I've read it, but yeah, I just loved the relationships in it. I loved the relationship she grows with, or develops with the other characters in there, like the guys at the school, the teachers, everyone. Yeah, there's lots to it, of course, but it's really good. And I'm gonna read the sequel hopefully in this year. Now this one, Boy Queen by George Lester, is one that I haven't taken the Waterstone sticker off yet. But this cover, look how cool this cover is. And I actually knew about this one because I watch his videos on YouTube. He talks about writing and NaNoWriMo and all sorts of reading content on BookTube. He's really cool. And I find his videos really cool to watch, especially when I'm struggling to write. But his book is about a teenage drag queen. The audience are losing their minds. I can't move. All I can do is stare, watching as every sequin sparkles as she mesmerises me, pulling me into her world. Robin had it all figured out, a future on Broadway, a top secret boyfriend and 2 ride-or-die best friends. Then all his worst nightmares came true. Now his life is a hot mess. With nothing left to lose, Robin falls wig first into the glittering embrace of drag and comes face to face with the queen he was always meant to be. Robin's about to learn that sometimes your new self is your true self. Looks really good. I don't really read that much contemporary, but I'd be excited to go into it, especially as I've seen the author and watched his videos quite a few times. And the next one is We Are Blood and Thunder by Kezia Lupo. I started reading this a little bit last year and then didn't get into it all the way. I'm not sure what it was. I think I just started reading something else. But it was it's got really interesting world building. It's got lots of ghostly parts to it, like an atmosphere, and it's got 2 main characters, which you can see on the cover, and they're both in completely different circumstances, but they end up coming together, I think. And I love these sorts of books. These are the sorts of books that I love to write as well, like where I've got two main characters who are pretty much opposing to each other, but end up linking up. I read a bit of the blurb. In a city where magic is feared and the dead are worshipped, life is overshadowed by a powerful and devastating storm cloud. One young woman is running for her life, another is trying to return home. Both are looking for a place where they belong. But what Lena and Constance don't realise is that the storm cloud binds them. Without each other, neither can get what she desires. So I think what I remember is one of them ends up with these abilities and doesn't know how to use them, so she has to go to this like faraway place to learn. But I didn't get quite that far into it, but I liked it's very pacey from the beginning. I like the atmosphere of the world and everything. So I'll be excited to go back into that one. The next one I've got is Foxes by M.A. Bennett. I was lucky enough to meet this author at an event that I organised when I worked for a charity called the Sapphire Community Group. She's absolutely lovely, and I'd never read her books before, but this is the third book in the series. We've got stags, then dogs, then foxes, and it's about like teenagers in like privileged situations in this big house in the countryside, and in the first couple of books there was a murder, and you had to work out who did it, of course, or what happened exactly, and how the main character was related to everything. And it's really, really good. It's another contemporary that I really enjoyed. And I've read the first two books, so I'm looking forward to getting into this one. And I love the covers as well, they're really nice. You can probably see the other two covers on the back there, hopefully. But yeah, they look really good. I really enjoyed the first two. The next one I've got is The Falconer by Elizabeth May. And this was a present from a friend. She got me for, I think it was my birthday or Christmas years ago. And it's a fantasy about a young girl who needs to avenge her mother. And I've been meaning to get into this for a couple of years now. She's been sat on my shelf. I always pick my books by like what mood I'm in, so if I haven't read something, it's just because I've seen something else that's on my shelf before this. But yeah, I'll read a bit of the blurb. Lady Elena Cameron was destined to a life carefully planned around Edinburgh's social events, right up until a fairy murdered her mother. Now between social engagements, she slaughters the Fae in secret, determined to track down that fairy and to destroy any others who cross her path. But midwinter is approaching and the battle looms. Elena is going to have to decide how much she's willing to lose and just how far she'll go to avenge her mother. I love the fact that this is set in Scotland as well. My friend apparently bought this because she knows how much I love Scotland. If you watch my videos in the past, you might know that I've gone to Edinburgh and I've gone to two places in the Scottish Highlands, Fort William and Kinlochleven, which are both beautiful, amazing places. I've got videos of my vlogs, my travel, my daily travel, my writing videos and things in those places. So if you want to check them out, they're on my channel. But they were a couple of years ago, so. But yeah, I absolutely love Scotland, and she knew that, so she bought me specifically with that in mind. And this book that I've got next is Crossfire from Malorie Blackman. Now this one I bought this at Yauk, I think it was 2 years ago now, again. Been meaning to read this for absolutely ages, of course, but this is the sequel to the Noughts and Crosses series, the new one that came out, I think it was probably 2 years ago now, but because the Yauk wasn't on last year. But I've read the Noughts and Crosses series about 5 times, all of them, and yeah, I can't wait to read this. I think I lost this book for ages, I didn't know where it was, and then I think I found it in my sister's suitcase in her room one day. I don't know where it went or what happened. I think she borrowed my suitcase and it was in it from Yauk, maybe. I don't know, but I can't wait to read it. My books are going to fall off my shelf, off my table rather. The next one I've got is Kroll Beauty by Rosamund Hodge. Again, another one that I started reading. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, I think. Love that cover, so pretty. And it's just, I remember this being really good atmosphere. The main character was really fiery. She wants to kill the guy that's basically ends up kidnapping her and taking her to his house, his massive place. I'll read a bit of the blurb because it'll explain things better than I do. Since birth, Nyx has been betrothed to the evil ruler of the kingdom, all because of a reckless bargain her father struck, and since birth she has been training to kill him. Betrayed by her family and yet bound to obey, Nyx rails against her fate. Still, on her 17th birthday, she abandons everything to marry the all-powerful, immortal Ignifex. I love that name. Her plan? Seduce him, disarm him, and break the centuries-old curse he put on her people. But Ignifex is not what Nyx expected. Of course, he's going to have some soft sides to him. The strangely charming lord beguiles her, and his castle, a shifting maze of magical rooms, enthralls her. I remember that being really intriguing, but I can't remember exactly what the rooms are like. As Nyx tries to free her homeland by uncovering Ignifex's secrets, she finds herself unwillingly drawn to him. But even if she could bring herself to love her sworn enemy, could she refuse her duty to kill him? Based on the classic fairy tale Beauty and the Beast, Cruel Beauty is a dazzling love story about our deepest desires and their power to change our destiny. I can't wait to get into that one. There's so many, guys. I've got 5 left that I still want to talk about. So the next one is The Sin Eater's Daughter by Melinda Salisbury. I love this cover. I know this is a series. It's been on my shelf for absolutely ages and I've never really looked at it. I think I started reading a bit of it a few years ago but never really got into it. But again, these are all books that I think I would enjoy, but sometimes I open up books and I start reading and I'm just not in the mood to... I just don't enjoy them the first time sometimes, and then I'll go back to them afterwards later on, and then I'll absolutely love them and get through them. So I guess it just depends on my mood when I'm reading. But yeah, I've been meaning to get to this one for absolutely ages, and its story is really intriguing. It's got, I'm the perfect weapon, I kill with a single touch. Twila is blessed. The gods have chosen her to marry a prince and rule the kingdom, but the favour of the gods has its price. A deadly poison infuses her skin. Those who anger the queen must die under Twila's fatal touch. Only Leaf, an outspoken new guard, can see past Twila's chilling role to the girl she truly is. Yet in a court as dangerous as the queen's, some truths should not be told. It sounds really interesting. I think there is a series. I've seen it around, but I've not read the others or got to that one yet, but I will do. The next one is The Goblin's Emperor, and reading this sort of blurb, it's about a young prince who ends up becoming in the line of his father's position. He's half goblin son of the emperor, has lived his entire life in exile, distant from the imperial court and the deadly intrigue that suffuses it. But when his father and 3 sons in line for the throne are killed in an accident, which is probably not an accident, he has no choice but to take his place as the only surviving rightful heir. Surrounded by sycophants and overwhelmed by the burdens of his new life, Maya can trust nobody. Amid the swirl of plots to depose him, offers of arranged marriages, and the spectre of the unknown conspirators, he must quickly adjust to life as the Goblin Emperor. It sounds really interesting. This one I'm excited about. I didn't really know exactly what the blurb was about, but you can judge by the title. It's a Dorothy retelling, and it is looking really good. It's going to be, I'll read the blurb because it sounds really interesting as well. I didn't ask for any of this. I didn't ask to be some kind of hero. But when your whole life gets swept up by a tornado, taking you with it, you have no choice but to go along, you know? Sure, I've read the books, I've seen the movies, but I never expected Oz to look like this. A place where good witches can't be trusted and wicked witches just might be the good guys. A place where even the yellow brick road is crumbling. What happened? Dorothy. My name is Amy Gum, and I'm the other girl from Kansas. I've been recruited by the Revolutionary Order of the Wicked, and I've been given a mission. Remove the Tin Woodman's heart. Steal the Scarecrow's brain. Take the lion's courage and then Dorothy must die. That sounds really, really good. I don't even know which one I'm going to read first of all of these guys. Okay, I've got 2 more books I want to talk about. So I've got Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I have read her books City of Bones and Tunnel of Bones? No, City of Ghosts, that's it, and Tunnel of Bones, because the first one's about Edinburgh, I believe, and then the second one is about Paris, and I've been to both of those places, so that was really cool reading those books, because they go into the Paris catacombs, which I went to a couple of years ago, and the under the ground in Edinburgh, which I did a ghost walk on a couple of years ago around the same time. So it was pretty cool to be able to read into the main character's exploration through that. So read those books if you like as well. They're really good. Her parents, this main character's parents, are like TV ghost hunters, which is really interesting, and she's just got to follow along, but they don't know that she can see ghosts, so it's really interesting. And they go to all these different places, and there'll probably be more books, I imagine. But this one, Vicious, I think it's one of her earlier books, but I've never read it, but it's been on my shelf for ages. It's got Victor and Eli started out as college roommates, brilliant, arrogant, lonely boys who recognise the same ambition in each other, a shared interest in adrenaline, near-death experiences and seemingly supernatural events reveals an intriguing possibility that under the right conditions someone could develop extraordinary abilities, but when their thesis moves from the academic to the experimental, things go horribly wrong. 10 years later, Victor breaks out of prison, determined to catch up to his old friend, aided by a young girl with a stunning ability. Meanwhile, Eli is on a mission to eradicate every other superpowered person that he can find, aside from his sidekick, an enigmatic woman with an unbreakable will. Armed with terrible power on both sides, driven by the memory of betrayal and loss, the arch-nemesis have a set of course for revenge. But who will be left alive at the end? I can't wait to get into that. All of these books look amazing. And the last one I've got is by booktuber Sasha Alsberg and author Lindsay Cummings, Zenith, which is another one that's been on my shelf for absolutely ages and I haven't read yet. But I can't wait to read all of these, but this one looks really good too. I've got When the Universe Needs Saving, There's Only One Girl for the Job. Most know Androma as a powerful mercenary whose reign of terror stretches across the Mirabel galaxy. To those aboard her glass starship Marauder, however, she's just Andy, their friend and fearless leader. But when a routine mission goes awry, the Marauder's all-girl crew is tested as they find themselves in a treacherous situation and at the mercy of a sadistic bounty hunter from Andy's past. As the Marauder hurtles towards the unknown and Mirabel hangs in the balance, the only certainty is that in a galaxy run on lies and illusion, no one can be trusted. And yeah, I'm not usually a sort of space sort of sci-fi person, but I've heard a lot about that book and I would be really excited to read it. I've also watched Sasha's YouTube videos for years, so I'd be interested to go into it. And yeah, so try and review all of them. I don't really know how many I'm going to get through this year because I always do 30 books in my Goodreads goal for the year, but I never do that many when I actually try to. But yeah, I'll try. I'll see what happens, see how many I can get through. And it might not be these books, I might decide to read other things, but I think these will be my most likely ones that I would pick out because they all look really interesting. They've been on my shelf for absolutely ages. I still have a load of book reviews to do for some books that I've read recently, so I will try and put out more content. I want to do more booktube stuff this year because I did start lagging a little bit at the end of last year. But I was also building an author website last night, so all of my videos will hopefully be going up there as I post them now, to start putting more content on there. And when I do eventually self-publish my novel, hopefully you guys can go and check it out. But yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I hope if you've enjoyed any of the books that I've picked out, let me know. Please don't give any spoilers because I still intend to read them. But you can either drop me a message, drop a comment, or just let me know. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys very soon.